Not everybody has to shut their garden down for the season, but there is a full stop here in Chicagoland, and my full stop is going to be the 9th, so that's just 6 days away. Join me while I show you what I'm doing to get ready. There's a lamb roast on today's menu, so out to the garden I go. Dug up a couple of leeks. These are the Mercurian sent to me by Steve at Digwell Green Fingers, and some albina beets. Never had these before. They are delicious. It's interesting to eat a white beet and get that regular beet flavor from it. Crudition carrots were also in the roasting process. Picked a little bit of the rosemary and thyme, and it was delightful. And those Mercurian leeks were so sweet roasted. Amazing flavor. Great compliment to the lamb. Well, I just went and got these peppers from the garage. We had hung them on a tomato cage on their vines to see if we couldn't get them to ripen, and 11 of them are perfectly ripe, of those Anaheims. These Alma paprikas, I think all of them will be okay. This one is just starting to turn. We'll see if that one goes too, but these will be fine. These are some that are somewhat turning of the Anaheims, and those are the two that Allie called ahi mango, and one of them is definitely turning. So it works. It works, it works, it works, and I am going to make some more of that delicious pepper powder in the dehydrator. Well, that's what 11 Anaheim peppers dehydrates down to. Now to get that turned into powder. It's crazy, but that's how much powder I got from 11 Anaheim peppers. But it is intense and delicious. And if you haven't watched my compound butter video, go back and do it, because I had some more of that tonight and it was delicious. Well, I normally wouldn't wash these off with a hose. These are my tuberous begonia bulbs, but they've been through heck and back this year. I think I started out with 16, and this is what has survived. But it's really windy today. There are some gusts of 21 miles an hour. It's going to be 82 degrees Fahrenheit and beautifully sunny, so they should dry out pretty quickly. Tomorrow is also going to be 80 degrees. Can you believe it? This is the end of October. You know what? It's that time of year. I got a compost delivery coming in about 2 weeks. So I need to get things cleared, and this center circle is my next job. Looks a little barren now, but I am gonna leave some flowers. There's still bees about, and they are liking the last of these snapdragons and calendula, so I am just gonna leave them for a handful more days for them. Sometimes when you do these jobs, it helps you make some decisions, and with the bunny fence, which is probably going to have to happen every year now, and the snaps, from the top I couldn't see all that rust going on underneath, but there definitely was a lot of rust on the bottom, so I'm gonna have to make a different decision in there next year. So these are my alpine strawberries, and they've just been hanging out now for a couple of months actually in these little cells, and life got in the way and I didn't get them planted out. I have purchased a green stalk tower, and that's what I thought I wanted to do with these, but now I'm not 100% sure that that's what I want to do, and I won't do it till spring anyway. So I am just basically going to put the strawberries in here for the winter, basically nursery them in this container until I can decide what to do in the spring. So each of these cells that have germinated have actually got very nice established roots. So I'm going to go ahead and get those planted out now, and I'll show you when I'm finished. Well, this is 8 days after transplant of those little alpine strawberries and 2 squirrel dig-ups and replants, and pretty much everybody's doing okay. You go. Well, it's about 5 p.m. on November 1st, and the sun is really low in the sky. And every day I'm working towards shutting down this garden. On the 9th, the compost will be spread in here and there, which is pretty empty now. But I'm out right now to grab something for dinner. And I think I'm going to take one of those garlics and some Swiss chard. But, you know, it's getting slimmer and slimmer, but, you know, this is still a lot of food when you stop and, oh, peas. Now, my peas haven't, you know, really formed peas. Oh, there's a couple that have, you know, pretty good sized peas going in them. But mostly it's these pods, and we're not going to have time to form. I think I'm going to take that and stir fry that with the Swiss chard. That sounds good. Well, there's one rather large garlic, a couple of tiny carrots, a few baby pea pods, and Swiss chard. And I'm going to turn that into some kind of Swiss chard with garlic and whatever I got up in the kitchen. Well, I did a chiffonade on the Swiss chard. I had a little leftover breakfast sausage, chicken breakfast sausage. Cut up some garlic from my garden, some Anaheim pepper. Those are crudeschin carrot, that garlic, and some pea pods, and that's going to be my dinner. There is my stir-fry dinner, and I'm still using up the compound butter that I made last week. Let's see how this tastes. Well, it smells good. Let's see how it tastes. Wow. Those peppers were a really good add. They shine. So this is my composting area, and it's well hidden by this clematis. That's an autumn joy. It is a geobin. Obviously there's 2 trellises on the front there. You can see them through. And it's pretty stuffed with stuff that needs to get chopped up. So I brought my hedge trimmers and I am going to chop things up. Well, now I've pulled out my corkscrew tool and I'm bringing up some compost from the bottom and getting things nice and stirred up again. I like this tool because it's less effort than the pitchfork. There it is, all stirred up and ready to decompose. 3 days later, I was back out again with the used tea leaves from the kitchen to add, and we added more chopped up leaves from the yard. And I really needed to give it a good stir, so I did have to pull out the pitchfork plus my corkscrew tool to give it a really, really good turn this time. You can see there the finished compost down at the bottom from earlier in the year is gorgeous already. Now I remember why I got the corkscrew. That pitchfork, that's a lot of work. Whew. Oh my goodness, it's a lot of work. This is the easiest thing that I've found to keep the elements out of the geo bin. It's got a handle, comes on, comes off with no fuss. It keeps most of the excess moisture out and the heat in. It's not even 24 hours later since I stirred it. It's about maybe, about 18 hours later. Look at that. And you can just feel the warmth. Yep, crazy. It works. Well, we've been using the garlic, but I took a couple off yesterday to use, and it looks like it's getting edgy. So I need to get the cloves ready for planting outside anyway, so I'm going to have a good look at these and see if I have to actually put some in the freezer. That's a nice size bulb, so now lots of people would plant that, but because it's open and not covered by skin, I'm going to take a pass on it and we'll eat it. Well, this is my 5th bulb, and I am definitely going to have to freeze a bunch of these because they are getting edgy. That's too bad. Yeah. Well, after doing those first few heads, I have some candidates to plant. I have candidates for the freezer, and I went and got the rest of the Spanish Rojos, and I'm going to go ahead and process those now. That's about 2 hours of work. And I have a nice amount of garlic for the freezer, and I have some choices to plant. Now I have at least 2 more types of hardneck that I need to go through and probably do the same thing too. And then I need to also check my soft neck. But I'm pleased, and it'll sure make for easy cooking with that all peeled like that. I think I'm going to put those garlic in the fridge until I get to putting them in the ground a little later this week. Remember, sometimes the only thing we harvest is knowledge, and that's okay. Bye for now. We'll see you on the next one.